Loneliness as Strength. Summary of the book. Published by Audiobooks HUB. Introduction. The hidden power of being alone. Most people fear loneliness. It's often seen as a sign of failure, proof that we are unloved, forgotten, or socially inept. But what if loneliness isn't a curse but a hidden strength? What if, instead of desperately seeking to escape it, we learn to use it as a tool for self-growth, deep insight, and personal power? Throughout history, the greatest minds, from philosophers to artists, scientists to warriors, have spent long periods in solitude. They weren't escaping from life, they were diving deeper into it. Buddha found enlightenment alone under the Bodhi tree. Nietzsche argued that true creativity happens in isolation. Even modern thinkers, like Steve Jobs, believed in the power of solitude to cultivate groundbreaking ideas. This book is not about how to cure loneliness. It is about how to transform it. It will show you how to harness solitude as a force for self-discovery, confidence, and even success. You will learn how to turn loneliness into an opportunity for deep reflection. Build unshakable self-worth without external validation. Strengthen your emotional resilience through solitude. Use time alone to master skills and develop your potential. Find peace, power, and clarity in moments of stillness. Each chapter will explore a different aspect of loneliness and its hidden benefits, providing you with practical exercises and mindset shifts to turn solitude into strength. By the time you finish this book, you won't just accept loneliness, you'll embrace it. You'll see it as a powerful ally rather than a silent enemy. You'll learn to stand strong, even when the world is silent around you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Redefining Loneliness. Most people think of loneliness as a painful emptiness, a void that needs to be filled with people, noise, and distractions. But what if loneliness isn't something to fear? What if it's a misunderstood state that can lead to profound self-discovery and strength? In this chapter, we will redefine what loneliness really is and separate it from mere isolation. We will also explore why people fear solitude and how that fear can be turned into an advantage. The difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is often confused with solitude, but they are not the same. Loneliness is the emotional pain of feeling disconnected, unwanted, or forgotten. It is the suffering that comes from craving human connection but not receiving it. Solitude is the conscious choice to be alone, often used for self-reflection, growth, and creativity. It is a state of self-sufficiency rather than emotional deprivation. The key difference is mindset. Two people can sit alone in a room, one feeling miserable and lonely, the other feeling peaceful and empowered. The situation is the same, but the interpretation is different. Why are we so afraid of loneliness? Since childhood, we are conditioned to see loneliness as a negative state. Society teaches us that being surrounded by friends and family is a sign of success, while being alone is a sign of failure. But is this really true? Biological fear. Humans are social creatures, and our ancestors depended on groups for survival. Being alone in ancient times meant danger. This instinct still lingers, even though modern life no longer requires us to be in a tribe to survive. Social pressure. Movies, social media, and culture glorify friendships, relationships, and constant interaction. Being alone is rarely celebrated, making people feel abnormal if they enjoy solitude. Self-doubt. Many people seek external validation to feel worthy. When they are alone, they confront their own thoughts and fears, which can be uncomfortable. Understanding these fears is the first step to overcoming them. Instead of running from loneliness, we can learn to embrace it and turn it into strength. How to shift your mindset about loneliness. If you want to stop seeing loneliness as a curse, try these mindset shifts. Stop labeling it as bad. Instead of thinking, I am lonely, say, I am in a moment of solitude. Words shape emotions. See it as an opportunity. Solitude gives you time to grow, reflect, and build skills that require deep focus. Recognize that being alone is not the same as being unloved. Many people love you, even if they are not physically with you at all times. Understand that discomfort leads to growth. Every powerful transformation begins with some level of discomfort. If you can sit with loneliness, you can master it. Practical exercise, the 1-hour solitude challenge. To start reshaping your relationship with loneliness, try this simple exercise. Set a timer for 1 hour. Turn off all distractions, no phone, no music, no internet. Sit alone with your thoughts. Write down what comes up. Observe how you feel. Do you experience discomfort? Anxiety? Relief? Repeat this exercise daily and notice how your feelings change over time. By practicing solitude regularly, you will begin to rewire your mind. Instead of feeling lonely, you will feel in control. Instead of feeling empty, you will feel full of possibility. Conclusion. Loneliness is only painful if you resist it. The moment you stop seeing it as an enemy and start seeing it as a teacher, everything changes. In the next chapter, we will explore how embracing loneliness can make you emotionally stronger and more resilient. Instead of feeling fragile, you will learn how to build an unshakable inner world. Let's move forward. Chapter 2. The emotional strength of solitude. Loneliness often feels like an enemy, something to escape from. But what if it's actually a training ground for emotional strength? What if the time you spend alone is shaping you into a more resilient, self-reliant, and powerful individual? In this chapter, we will explore how solitude can become a tool for emotional growth. Instead of seeing loneliness as weakness, you will learn to use it to build an unshakable mind. Why loneliness makes you emotionally stronger. Many people depend on others for emotional stability. They seek constant validation, reassurance, or distraction to avoid their own thoughts. But when you learn to be alone, you gain something invaluable, emotional independence. You stop fearing rejection. When you are comfortable with solitude, you no longer desperately seek approval from others. You realize that your worth isn't determined by who stays or leaves. You develop mental resilience. Solitude forces you to sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of escaping them. Over time, this strengthens your ability to handle difficult situations. You gain self-awareness. Without external noise, you can finally listen to your inner voice. You begin to understand your desires, fears, and true identity. You master emotional control. Loneliness teaches you to regulate your emotions rather than letting them control you. You learn that sadness, boredom, or anxiety are just passing states, not permanent conditions. The test of solitude: are you in control? How do you react to being alone? Try asking yourself these questions. When you spend time alone, do you feel restless or at peace? Do you constantly seek distractions, like social media or TV, to avoid silence? Can you sit with your emotions without immediately trying to suppress them? Do you depend on others to make you feel happy and fulfilled? If you struggle with solitude, it's a sign that you have untapped emotional strength waiting to be developed. How to build emotional strength through solitude. You don't need to be a monk to develop mental resilience. Here are some simple but powerful ways to transform loneliness into emotional power. Practice emotional sitting. When a difficult emotion arises, sadness, frustration, or boredom, don't try to escape it. Instead, sit with it for 5 minutes. Observe it. Accept it. Over time, this will make you emotionally unbreakable. Write down your thoughts. Solitude is an opportunity for deep self-reflection. Keep a journal and write about your emotions, fears, and insights. This will help you process your inner world instead of avoiding it. Limit external validation. For 1 week, reduce your dependency on others for approval. Post less on social media, seek fewer compliments, and trust your own decisions. Notice how much power you reclaim. Turn loneliness into a ritual. Instead of seeing solitude as a negative, make it intentional. Create daily rituals, morning walks, silent reflection, or deep work sessions, that turn loneliness into a source of strength. Practical exercise, the inner fortress visualization. To reinforce your emotional strength, try this mental exercise. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing alone on a mountain. The wind is strong, but you remain unmoved. You are your own foundation. Picture a powerful fortress inside your mind, indestructible, solid, and calm. This is your inner strength. No external forces can shake it. Repeat to yourself, I am complete on my own. My solitude is my power. Open your eyes and carry this feeling with you throughout the day. Conclusion. The ability to be alone without fear is one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. When you master solitude, you master yourself. In the next chapter, we will explore how being alone can actually enhance your relationships. Instead of making you distant, solitude can help you connect with others in a deeper, more meaningful way. Let's move forward. Chapter 3. How solitude strengthens relationships. Most people assume that being alone makes you distant and disconnected from others. But the truth is, solitude can actually improve your relationships. When you are comfortable with yourself, you no longer need people out of desperation, you choose them out of genuine connection. In this chapter, we will explore how time spent alone can enhance your ability to form deeper, more meaningful relationships. Why people with strong relationships value solitude. Have you ever noticed that the most confident, charismatic people don't constantly seek attention? They enjoy social interactions, but they are also perfectly fine being alone. This is because they have developed inner completeness. They don't cling to relationships out of fear. Many people stay in toxic relationships because they fear being alone. But those who embrace solitude can walk away from unhealthy connections without hesitation. They are emotionally self-sufficient. Instead of relying on others for happiness, they create it within themselves. This makes them more attractive to others. They communicate from a place of strength, not neediness. When you don't fear solitude, you interact with people because you truly enjoy their presence, not because you need them to fill an emotional void. How loneliness leads to shallow relationships. When people fear being alone, they often fall into unhealthy social patterns. They tolerate toxic relationships. They stay in friendships or romantic relationships that drain them because they believe any company is better than being alone. They seek validation instead of real connection. They surround themselves with people just to feel important, not because they share a deep bond. They lose their sense of identity. When they are constantly with others, they absorb the emotions and opinions of those around them, forgetting who they truly are. The paradox is that the more someone fears loneliness, the more likely they are to feel lonely, even in a crowd. How solitude makes you more attractive and charismatic. When you are comfortable with yourself, you naturally develop qualities that draw others to you. Confidence. People are drawn to those who don't seek approval. When you enjoy your own company, others will want to be around you too. Depth. Time spent alone allows you to think deeply, explore ideas, and develop unique insights. This makes your conversations more engaging and meaningful. Emotional stability. When you don't depend on others for happiness, you bring a calm, steady presence into your relationships. This makes you someone people trust and respect. Selective socializing. Instead of wasting time on shallow interactions, you choose to be with people who truly matter. This leads to more fulfilling relationships. Practical steps to improve relationships through solitude. If you want to strengthen your social life, start by improving your relationship with yourself. Here's how. Take a break from socializing. Spend at least one day a week in complete solitude. Use this time to reflect on your relationships. Are they adding value to your life, or just filling space? Observe your social patterns. Do you seek company because you enjoy it, or because you fear being alone? Start noticing your motivations. Develop personal interests. The more hobbies, passions, and skills you develop in solitude, the more interesting and attractive you become to others. Set relationship standards. When you are comfortable being alone, you no longer accept relationships that drain you. Write down your standards. What kind of people do you truly want in your life? Practical exercise, the magnetism of solitude challenge. Spend an evening alone. No phone, no distractions. Use this time to reflect on yourself and your relationships. Write down how you feel. Do you feel restless? Peaceful? What emotions come up? Next time you socialize, observe your energy. Are you seeking approval, or genuinely enjoying the moment? Repeat this process for a week. Notice how your interactions change when you no longer fear solitude. Conclusion. The strongest relationships are built by those who are already complete on their own. When you learn to enjoy solitude, you bring more value to every connection. In the next chapter, we will explore how solitude can be used as a tool for creativity and deep thinking. Some of the greatest minds in history relied on loneliness to produce their most brilliant ideas. Now, you can too. Let's move forward. Chapter 4. Solitude as a source of creativity and deep thinking. Many of the greatest minds in history, artists, writers, inventors, and philosophers, have one thing in common: they embraced solitude. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Virginia Woolf, and Albert Einstein all spent long hours alone, using solitude as a tool to dive into deep thought and unlock their creative potential. In this chapter, we will explore how being alone can become your greatest creative advantage and how you can harness solitude to generate powerful ideas. Why creativity thrives in solitude. In today's world, people are constantly surrounded by distractions, social media, endless notifications, and constant noise. This overstimulation makes it difficult to hear your own thoughts, let alone come up with something original. Solitude changes that. When you are alone, your mind has space to wander. Free from external noise, your thoughts can connect in unexpected ways, leading to moments of insight and innovation. You enter deep work mode. Without interruptions, you can focus intensely on a project or idea, producing high-quality work. You develop original ideas. Instead of being influenced by the opinions of others, you start thinking independently, leading to unique insights. Your subconscious mind becomes active. Many creative breakthroughs happen when the mind is relaxed, walking alone, sitting in silence, or daydreaming. The science behind solitude and creativity. Studies show that solitude enhances problem-solving abilities. Neuroscientists have found that when people are alone, the default mode network, DMN, of the brain becomes active. This network is responsible for self-reflection, deep thinking, and creativity. Famous thinkers like Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin spent hours in solitude, engaging with their thoughts and allowing ideas to evolve naturally. You don't need to be a genius to use this technique, you just need to create intentional moments of solitude in your daily life. How to use solitude to boost your creativity. If you want to maximize your creative potential, start by making space for solitude. Here's how. Schedule alone time. Set aside at least 30 minutes a day to be completely alone. No phone, no music, just you and your thoughts. Go for a walk without distractions. Many creative geniuses, like Steve Jobs and Friedrich Nietzsche, used walking as a way to clear their minds and spark ideas. Keep a journal for random thoughts. Writing down ideas, no matter how small, helps your brain connect them later into something meaningful. Engage in a solo creative activity. Paint, write, compose music, or brainstorm ideas, all without seeking external feedback. Practice boredom sessions. When you let yourself be bored, your brain naturally starts generating new thoughts. Instead of reaching for your phone, let your mind drift. You might be surprised by what ideas emerge. Practical exercise, the Creativity Retreat Challenge. Choose a 2-hour period where you will be alone. No social media, no talking to anyone. Bring a notebook or sketchpad. If an idea comes to you, write it down without judging it. Let your mind wander. You can sit in silence, take a walk, or just stare at the ceiling. At the end of the session, review your notes. Did any interesting ideas appear? Conclusion. Solitude is not emptiness, it's a creative space. The most powerful ideas don't come from endless social interactions or distractions. They emerge in moments of deep, uninterrupted thinking. In the next chapter, we will explore how solitude can be used as a tool for personal transformation. If you've ever wanted to reinvent yourself, it all starts with spending time alone. Let's move forward. Chapter 5. Solitude as a tool for personal transformation. Most people fear being alone because they associate it with emptiness. But in reality, solitude is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. When you embrace solitude, you create space to reflect, heal, and redefine who you are. In this chapter, we will explore how solitude can help you reinvent yourself, break old patterns, and become the person you truly want to be. Why transformation requires solitude. Change does not happen in the middle of noise and distractions. Think about the most significant turning points in history, spiritual awakenings, life-changing decisions, and great personal breakthroughs. They almost always happen in moments of solitude. When you are alone, you can reflect on who you really are. Without outside influences, you can ask yourself deep questions. What do I truly want? Who am I without the opinions of others? You can break free from societal conditioning. Society, family, and peers shape your beliefs and behaviors. Solitude gives you a chance to analyze which of these truly serve you. You develop inner strength. Facing yourself without distractions can be uncomfortable, but it builds resilience and emotional independence. You have time to set new directions. In solitude, you can rethink your goals, set new priorities, and take control of your life. How to use solitude for self-discovery. If you want to transform your life, you need to start by spending intentional time alone. Here's how. Practice radical honesty with yourself. Sit in silence and ask, am I truly happy with my life? What am I avoiding? The answers may be uncomfortable, but they are necessary for growth. Observe your patterns. Pay attention to your emotions and behaviors when you are alone. Do you feel restless? Anxious? At peace? Your reactions will reveal a lot about your inner world. Write letters to your future self. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Who do you want to become? What advice would you give yourself today? Detach from external validation. Stop seeking approval from others. Instead, validate yourself. Learn to make decisions based on what feels right for you, not what others expect. Set a personal growth challenge. Choose one aspect of your life you want to improve and dedicate time in solitude to work on it. It could be fitness, learning a new skill, or improving your mindset. Practical exercise, the Self-Reinvention Challenge. Spend one full day alone. No social media, no talking to anyone unless necessary. Use this day to reflect on your life. Write down your biggest fears about change. What's stopping you from becoming the person you want to be? Make a list of the top 3 things you want to transform about yourself. Be specific. Do you want to become more confident? More disciplined? More creative? Create an action plan. What daily habits will help you become this new version of yourself? Commit to 30 days of focused self-improvement. Track your progress and use solitude as a tool for transformation. Conclusion. Solitude is not isolation, it's a gateway to self-mastery. The greatest transformations happen when you take time to be with yourself, question your current path, and choose a new direction. In the next chapter, we will explore how solitude can be used to build mental toughness and emotional resilience. Let's move forward. Chapter 6. Building mental toughness through solitude. Mental toughness is the ability to stay strong in the face of challenges, control emotions, and persist despite difficulties. Many people seek strength in external validation, encouragement from others, support from friends, or motivation from social media. However, true resilience is built in solitude. Solitude teaches you to stand on your own, face discomfort, and develop the inner strength needed to handle life's challenges without depending on external crutches. In this chapter, you will learn how to use solitude as a tool to build mental toughness and emotional resilience. Why solitude builds mental strength. When you remove distractions and external influences, you are left alone with your thoughts, emotions, and insecurities. This can feel uncomfortable at first, but it forces you to face your fears. Without external noise to drown them out, you must confront your inner doubts and anxieties. Develop emotional independence. You learn to manage your own emotions instead of relying on others to make you feel better. Increase your tolerance for discomfort. Sitting in solitude trains you to endure difficult emotions, making you more resilient to stress and adversity. Strengthen your decision-making. You no longer depend on others to tell you what to do, you develop confidence in your own judgment. How to use solitude to build mental toughness. If you want to develop a resilient mind, start by deliberately exposing yourself to solitude. Here's how. Spend time alone without any distractions. No phone, no music, no conversations, just you and your thoughts. The goal is to become comfortable with silence and develop control over your mind. Practice controlled discomfort. Intentionally place yourself in uncomfortable situations, such as fasting for a day, taking cold showers, or sitting in silence for an extended period. This will increase your ability to endure discomfort in other areas of life. Develop inner dialogue mastery. Pay attention to your thoughts. When negative self-talk appears, challenge it. Replace it with empowering thoughts and solutions. Engage in solitary reflection on challenges. The next time you face a problem, resist the urge to seek advice immediately. Instead, spend time alone analyzing the situation and brainstorming solutions. Commit to self-reliance. Start small, solve personal struggles without complaining, avoid seeking unnecessary reassurance, and learn to trust your own decisions. Practical exercise, the Solitude Endurance Challenge. Choose a 2-hour period of complete solitude. No distractions, no conversations, just you and your thoughts. Identify and confront a fear or insecurity. Ask yourself, what is one thing I keep avoiding thinking about? Why? Write down a personal challenge you are facing. Instead of seeking outside advice, analyze it deeply and come up with 3 possible solutions. Sit in silence and observe your emotional reactions. Do you feel restless? Anxious? Bored? The more you practice, the stronger your ability to handle solitude will become. Repeat this exercise weekly to progressively build mental toughness. Conclusion. Solitude is not loneliness, it is a training ground for inner strength. If you can master your mind when you are alone, no external challenge will break you. In the next chapter, we will explore how solitude can help you make better life decisions and avoid impulsive mistakes. Let's move forward. Chapter 7. Solitude as a path to better decision-making. In a world filled with distractions, advice, and conflicting opinions, making the right decisions can feel overwhelming. We often seek external validation before taking action, asking friends, checking social media, or waiting for approval from others. However, the most powerful and life-changing decisions come from within. Solitude is the key to clarity. When you step away from outside noise, you gain the ability to listen to your own intuition, think deeply, and make decisions based on logic and self-awareness rather than impulse and pressure. In this chapter, you will learn how solitude can help you make better life choices with confidence. Why solitude improves decision-making. Many of the worst decisions in life happen when we act out of impulse, social pressure, or fear of missing out. Solitude removes these external influences and allows us to think deeply. Without distractions, you can analyze situations more thoroughly and consider long-term consequences. Reduce emotional interference. Being alone helps you separate emotions from logic, leading to more rational decisions. Strengthen self-trust. Instead of relying on others, you learn to trust your own instincts and intelligence. Avoid impulsive mistakes. Solitude gives you time to pause and reflect before making big decisions, preventing regret. How to use solitude to make smarter choices. Step away before deciding. When faced with an important choice, remove yourself from distractions and spend time alone to think before reacting. Use the 24-hour rule. Before making any big decision, give yourself 24 hours of solitude to reflect. Most impulsive choices seem less appealing after some time. Write a pros and cons list in solitude. Grab a notebook and analyze your options without outside influence. Writing forces you to structure your thoughts. Visualize the future consequences. Imagine how your life will look in 6 months or a year if you make a certain choice. Does it align with your long-term goals? Listen to your gut feeling. When you are alone, your intuition becomes clearer. Pay attention to your emotional and physical reactions when considering different choices. Practical exercise, the decision clarity method. Choose a major decision you are struggling with. It could be about your career, relationships, or a personal goal. Find a quiet place and sit alone with a notebook. No distractions, no external input. Write down your options and analyze them logically. What are the risks? What are the benefits? What would your future self think about this decision? Check in with your emotions. Does this choice bring you peace or anxiety? True decisions that align with you usually feel right deep down. Commit to a choice and own it. Stop second-guessing. Solitude helps you trust yourself, make a decision and move forward with confidence. Conclusion. The greatest minds in history, philosophers, leaders, and innovators, have all used solitude to make their most important decisions. When you master the ability to think independently, you free yourself from impulsive mistakes and outside influences. In the next chapter, we will explore how solitude can help you unlock deep creativity and innovation. Let's continue. Chapter 8. Unlocking Creativity and Innovation Through Solitude. Many people believe that creativity comes from brainstorming with others, seeking inspiration in conversations, or consuming large amounts of external content. While these methods can help, true creativity often emerges in solitude, when the mind is free from distractions and external influences. Throughout history, the greatest artists, writers, scientists, and inventors have used solitude to produce their best work. Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, and countless other visionaries spent long hours alone, allowing their ideas to mature without interference. Solitude gives the brain the space it needs to explore new concepts, make unexpected connections, and generate original ideas. Why solitude boosts creativity? Eliminates external noise. When you're alone, you are not bombarded with opinions, trends, or comparisons that can stifle originality. Allows deep thinking. Without distractions, you can explore ideas more thoroughly and make creative breakthroughs. Strengthens imagination. Solitude encourages daydreaming, visualization, and mental exploration, which are essential for creative thinking. Encourages problem solving. When you face a challenge alone, you are forced to think creatively instead of relying on others for answers. How to use solitude to unlock your creative potential. Schedule creative isolation time. Set aside at least 30 minutes a day to be completely alone with your thoughts, no phone, no conversations, just you and your imagination. Engage in unstructured thinking. Let your mind wander without forcing ideas. Some of the best insights come when you are relaxed and not actively trying to solve a problem. Keep a creativity journal. Write down random thoughts, ideas, dreams, and questions that come to mind during solitude. Many great ideas begin as seemingly insignificant notes. Experiment without fear. In solitude, there's no pressure to conform or impress others. Use this freedom to experiment with new ideas, even if they seem unusual at first. Use nature as a creative stimulus. Walking alone in nature, sitting by a lake, or watching the sunset can inspire new thoughts and perspectives. Many creative breakthroughs happen in quiet, natural settings. Practical exercise, the isolation inspiration method. Choose a problem or project that requires creativity. It could be writing, art, business ideas, or any challenge that needs innovation. Find a quiet space and remove distractions. No phone, no internet, no external input, just a notebook or a blank page. Set a timer for 30 minutes. During this time, let your mind freely explore ideas related to your project. Write down anything that comes to mind, no matter how random. Review your notes. Look for patterns, connections, or interesting concepts that you can refine into a solid idea. Repeat this exercise regularly. The more you engage in creative solitude, the stronger your ability to generate unique ideas will become. Conclusion. Solitude is not the enemy of creativity, it is its greatest ally. When you embrace moments of isolation, you allow your mind to explore new possibilities without limitations. Some of the most revolutionary ideas in history were born in solitude. In the next chapter, we will discuss how to maintain emotional balance and prevent loneliness from turning into isolation. Let's move forward. Chapter 9. Emotional Balance, Preventing Solitude from Becoming Isolation. While solitude can be a source of strength, creativity, and clarity, it has a delicate balance. When used wisely, it empowers you. But if mismanaged, solitude can slip into loneliness and emotional isolation, leading to feelings of sadness, disconnection, or even depression. The key is learning to balance solitude with meaningful connections. In this chapter, you'll discover how to enjoy solitude without letting it turn into harmful isolation. The difference between solitude and isolation. It's important to distinguish between solitude and isolation. They may look similar from the outside, but they have very different effects on your emotional well-being. Solitude is chosen, isolation is forced. When you embrace solitude, you enjoy time alone with purpose. Isolation, on the other hand, happens when you withdraw from people due to fear, anxiety, or emotional wounds. Solitude rejuvenates, isolation drains. When used correctly, solitude makes you feel refreshed and at peace. Isolation, however, can make you feel exhausted and emotionally numb. Solitude strengthens self-awareness, isolation weakens it. Solitude helps you reflect and grow. Isolation, however, can lead to overthinking, self-doubt, and negative thought patterns. Signs that solitude has turned into isolation. You avoid social interactions not because you enjoy being alone, but because you fear rejection or judgment. You feel emotionally drained instead of refreshed after long periods alone. You stop sharing your thoughts, feelings, or creative work with others. You feel that no one understands you or that relationships are pointless. You overthink and become trapped in repetitive negative thoughts. How to prevent isolation while embracing solitude. Set limits on alone time. Give yourself specific periods for solitude, but don't make it your default state. Balance is key. Stay connected to meaningful relationships. Spend time with people who uplift and support you, even if it's just occasional deep conversations. Engage in social activities you enjoy. Being around others doesn't mean forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations. Find social settings that feel natural to you. Express yourself creatively. Share your ideas, thoughts, or artistic work with the world. Even if it's just writing in a blog, recording a video, or discussing topics with like-minded people. Challenge negative thoughts. If you find yourself thinking, "I don't need anyone," or "no one understands me," question whether these thoughts are based on facts or fear. Practice gratitude for connections. Instead of focusing on people who misunderstand you, appreciate those who do care. Even a few strong connections can make a difference. Practical exercise, the Solitude Connection Balance Method. Write down how much time you currently spend alone versus socializing. Is it balanced, or do you lean too much towards one side? Identify one meaningful relationship in your life. It could be a friend, mentor, family member, or even an online community that shares your interests. Set an intention to reach out or engage. Even a short message, phone call, or meeting can help prevent solitude from turning into isolation. Schedule social time like you schedule solitude. Just as you plan time for yourself, plan moments for meaningful human interaction. Reflect on your emotions. After spending time with others, notice if you feel recharged or drained. Adjust your balance based on how you feel. Conclusion. Solitude is powerful, but it should never become a prison. Learning to balance time alone with meaningful connections ensures that you benefit from solitude without suffering from isolation. In the final chapter, we will tie everything together and explore how to make solitude a permanent source of strength in your life. Let's continue. Chapter 10. Making Solitude Your Superpower. You've reached the final chapter of this journey, and by now, you understand that solitude is not a weakness but a hidden strength. When embraced correctly, it can enhance self-awareness, boost creativity, improve resilience, and lead to deep personal transformation. However, to fully integrate solitude as a lifelong asset, you need a strategy to make it work for you consistently. This chapter will guide you through turning solitude into a permanent superpower, something that empowers you, rather than isolates you. The mindset shift, from avoidance to embrace. Many people fear being alone because they associate it with loneliness or rejection. However, the most successful individuals throughout history, think of Marcus Aurelius, Leonardo da Vinci, and Steve Jobs, used solitude as a tool for reflection, creativity, and deep thinking. Instead of seeing solitude as something to endure, shift your mindset. Solitude is a time for self-growth. Use it to reflect, learn, and refine your goals. Solitude is a source of clarity. It helps you filter out distractions and focus on what truly matters. Solitude is an energy reset. It allows you to recharge and return to the world stronger. How to make solitude work for you long-term. Create a solitude ritual. Develop a consistent habit of spending time alone with purpose. It could be morning journaling, evening walks, or silent meditation. The key is making it a daily practice. Use solitude to strengthen self-awareness. Instead of mindlessly scrolling on your phone when alone, ask yourself meaningful questions. What truly makes me happy? Am I living according to my values? What is one thing I can improve today? Balance solitude with social connection. Solitude should empower you, not disconnect you from others. Make sure to balance your alone time with meaningful relationships. Spend time with people who add value to your life, not those who drain you. Transform solitude into a creative force. The greatest breakthroughs often happen in solitude. Use your alone time to brainstorm ideas, experiment with new skills, or work on personal projects. Creativity thrives in stillness. Find joy in solitude. Instead of seeing time alone as a waiting period before social interaction, actively enjoy it. Read, explore new music, take yourself on a solo date, do things that make you happy alone. Practical exercise, the Solitude Power Plan. Define your ideal solitude time. How much alone time do you need to feel your best? What activities make solitude meaningful for you? Set a weekly solitude goal. Choose specific days and times when you will embrace solitude with intention. Track your emotional state. After each solitude session, note how you feel. Are you more energized, inspired, or reflective? Adjust your approach based on what works best for you. Use solitude to solve a problem. Pick one challenge in your life and use dedicated alone time to think deeply about solutions. Write down insights or action steps that come to you. Final thoughts. Solitude is not about escaping the world, it's about mastering it. When you use solitude correctly, you become more self-aware, creative, emotionally balanced, and independent. The strongest people in history didn't fear being alone, they thrived in it. Now, the choice is yours. Will you embrace solitude as a source of power, or will you let it become something you fear? The journey doesn't end here. Start small, experiment, and watch as solitude transforms you into a stronger, more resilient, and deeply fulfilled person.